I'm Marilee Caruso. It's Tuesday, September 16th. Today, a random attack. A senior is stabbed and another punched by a stranger while sitting in their living room. Also today, a blueprint for growth.
In the future, you're going to be able to have that boat. You're going to be able to have that cottage. You're going to be able to have that truck.
How the Premier plans to get more Manitobans working on major construction projects. Plus, a breath of fresh air.
The more time you spend in nature, the better off it's going to be.
Why the next prescription from your family doctor may require you to lace up your walking shoes. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. A terrifying attack on two senior citizens sitting in the living room of their own home. Police have charged a 23-year-old man in connection to the assault in what police call a random home invasion that happened on Monday. Let's bring in CTV's Taylor Brock now to tell us more. Taylor, what happened here?
Well, Marilee, police say one person was stabbed and the other was punched. It happened on Meredith Bay, that's in North Winnipeg in the Templeton neighborhood. Police say the couple, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, were simply sitting in their living room when a man broke in, punched the woman, picked up a knife and stabbed the man before running away. Police say they picked up an intoxicated suspect nearby, charging him with assault and weapons offenses. Now, police say paramedics treated the woman at her home. However, the man was taken to hospital in unstable condition. He has since been upgraded to stable.
Taylor, what about neighbors? What are they saying about all this?
We visited the neighborhood today, and we can tell you people say they're shocked. One neighbor tells CTV News the attack was something they never thought could happen on their quiet bay. But they are relieved a suspect has been arrested.
All right, thanks for this, Taylor. The driver of a dump truck involved in a crash on the Perimeter Highway is facing impaired driving charges. The crash yesterday morning closed the North Perimeter for several hours. RCMP say a dump truck rear-ended several vehicles stopped at a red light just west of the McPhillips Street turnoff. The crash caused a chain reaction with other cars stopped at the light. A driver in one of the vehicles had to be extricated and taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the 65-year-old dump truck driver failed a roadside screening device and was arrested for impaired driving. He faces numerous charges. His driver's license was suspended and the truck was impounded. Another man has been arrested in connection to the deaths of a migrant family on the Canada-U.S. border near Emerson in 2022. The Federal Justice Department says Fennell Patel was arrested September 5th on an extradition request from the United States. He's facing a hearing this week in Ontario Superior Court. Police in India announced in 2023 they were looking for Patel on human trafficking and other charges after a couple and their two children froze to death while trying to walk across the border in frigid nighttime blizzard. Two men in the United States were tried and convicted for being part of the smuggling effort south of the border. A witness told the trial Patel was a key organizer in human smuggling north of the border and actually drove the family from Toronto to Winnipeg just before they died trying to cross. Winnipeg's mayor has released the first in what he says will be a weekly bulletin showcasing repeat offenders.
If this habitual offender had not been released on bail for their April 2021 shooting charge, then the offender wouldn't have been free to commit that carjacking in June of 2021.
Using publicly available police data, Scott Gillingham described an unnamed offender who was convicted of 24 violent crimes over 11 years and violated bail or probation 12 separate times. The mayor concludes his recorded address, which can be found on YouTube by anyone, and is asking anyone who supports bail or sentencing reform to email the federal justice minister. Last week, Gillingham told CTV News the bulletins are his way to show, quote, where the system is broken and needs to be changed. 3 victims of disgraced football coach Kelsey McKay have filed a lawsuit against the school division where he worked. In their statement of claim, the 3 unnamed plaintiffs allege Pembina Trail School Division failed to properly screen McKay before he was hired, ignored complaints about his behavior with students, and didn't properly supervise the school and football activities. The plaintiffs are identified in court documents by initials only due to a court order protecting their identities. They're asking for an unspecified amount in damages for mental anguish, loss of enjoyment, and the inability to properly earn an income due to emotional trauma. The school division refused to comment as the matter is before the courts. McKay was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year after pleading guilty to 9 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of luring. The Manitoba government is creating a hunting buffer zone near Bloodvein First Nation. Earlier this month, Bloodvein announced non-Indigenous moose hunters would not be welcome this season. The community set up a check stop and posted signs marking the area as traditional territory for band members only. Manitoba Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures has now amended regulations under the Wildlife Act to create a buffer zone in the area. Protected is an area 500 meters on either side of Rice River Road, which connects Bloodvein First Nation to Barons River First Nation, and 500 meters on either side of the Bloodvein River. The buffer applies to the 2025 hunting season only. When 4 new schools go up here in Manitoba, it's going to be local jobs that make it happen.
This is about our values as Manitobans and making sure that everybody in Manitoba can share in the value of the work.
Premier Wab Kinew announced his government has signed its first Manitoba jobs agreement with Manitoba Building Trades. The agreement ensures contractors prioritize Manitoba workers and sets standards for wages, benefits, and working conditions.
10% of all project work hours will be apprenticeship hours worked by local apprentices at a minimum. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning for young Manitobans, creating pathways into good-paying, stable careers in the trades.
That's Tanya Paulson with Manitoba Building Trades, who says 20% of all work hours will come from groups such as Indigenous people, women, and newcomers. 3 of the 4 new schools, which were previously announced in the provincial budget, are planned for Winnipeg, while the other is in Brandon. It was a day to celebrate at Red River College today as more than 60 students officially completed a course allowing them to re-enter the nursing profession. 62 students were presented their certificates today. The Nursing Re-Entry Program allows nurses previously registered and trained in Manitoba or internationally to gain the skills needed to return to work. Today, graduates heard from Melissa Reyes, who is returning to nursing after immigrating to Manitoba from the Philippines.
After being away from the nursing profession for several years, I was slowly losing my confidence as a nurse. So I decided to take the full program, which I would say is not a walk in the park. But it gave me back my confidence to work as a nurse. It taught me the value of lifelong learning.
The graduates can now write an examination through the Manitoba College of Registered Nurses and return to the profession as practicing nurses. All right, let's bring Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight, Colleen?
Well, a little sprinkling of rain to the east of Winnipeg and over into northwestern Ontario. That's about it. But it's been another unseasonably warm day in Manitoba, Marilee. But as warm as it was today, it was even warmer. In fact, records were set or broken, depending on how you look at it. Yesterday, we're going to show you where in the province that happened, so we'll take a look back at that. And of course, we'll take a look forward at your forecast for tonight for the rest of the week. It's not going to be quite as warm, but I'll show you where temperatures will land coming up in a few minutes. But let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it is a cloudy 23 degrees, but it is still humid. It feels like 27. Winds a little strong and gusty from the northwest. The pressure's rising and the humidity is 58%. Out in traffic, a live look out onto the St. James Bridge. Pretty busy for folks trying to head southbound. A little slow going there. Smoother sailing for folks heading north.
A new medical clinic in Winnipeg may soon divert cases from busy emergency rooms. Details on that and more local news still ahead.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Taking a look at the markets, crude oil is up $1.22. The Canadian dollar also up slightly. Gold increased by over $6 an ounce, while the TSX dropped about 116 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also down today by more than 125 points, while the Nasdaq lost close to 15 points.
Market Watch is brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross. Group health plans for any size business.
Canada's inflation rate edged up slightly in August, with a smaller than expected decrease in gas prices fueling the increase. Statistics Canada reports the Consumer Price Index rose 1.9% in August, a slight increase from the 1.7% bump in July. Even though gas prices were down compared to last year, the decline was smaller than in July. Here in Manitoba, inflation rose slightly faster than the national average at 2%. A new clinic opening tomorrow at St. Boniface Hospital will divert cases from its emergency room. The clinic will be open 365 days a year and staffed by doctors, nurses, and primary care assistants. The province says it has access to laboratory services and x-rays when necessary. It follows similar models at Misericordia, Victoria, Grace, and Health Sciences Centre hospitals. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the province has seen good results with those clinics in those sites.
Sometimes you go to the hospital and you absolutely need to see an emergency room doctor, but sometimes you might get there and then the nurse or whoever you're talking to says, you know what, you could probably just skip the waiting room and go to the clinic next door.
The announcement comes on the heels of new data showing median emergency department wait times are trending higher than when the NDP first took office. The health minister says the province has added 900 net new nurses, 200 doctors, and hundreds of other healthcare workers. A little bit country and a little rock and roll. We'll tell you about two big music acts coming to Canada Life Centre. Local entertainment news coming up next in the Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Gord Bamford.
Colleen Brady is back now for Spotlight, and we're kicking things off today with a clever promotion being run by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet.
That's right. All month you can eat like you're in a Brothers Grimm tale and maybe even score some free tickets to an upcoming production. Ahead of next month's performance of Hansel and Gretel, the RWB is partnering with a handful of local bakeries to offer themed treats. At each store, you'll also find a QR code. Scan all 5 and you'll be entered to win tickets. The promotion runs until October 8th at Generate Cakes, Fete Ice Cream and Coffee, Sugar Blooms and Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and High Tea Bakery. The RWB's production of Hansel and Gretel runs October 9th to 12th.
The Winnipeg Film Group is celebrating a huge milestone this year. Its 50th anniversary.
It sure is, and to celebrate, it's putting on its We're Still Here 50 years of the Winnipeg Film Group Festival. The Winnipeg Film Group is one of the oldest artist-run centers operating in Canada. It operates Cinematheque in downtown Winnipeg and brings independent filmmakers, true movie lovers, and educators together. As part of their anniversary, they'll be screening a number of films from their archives, past and present. Filmmakers as well, including Guy Madden's 2002 film Dracula, Pages from a Virgin's Diary.
We have, a pretty sizable collection of films. We have over 1,400 titles.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've become an unofficial archive in a way that is important. And there isn't any other artist-run center in Canada that has, these 3 important wings.
We're Still Here. 50 years of the Winnipeg Film Group Festival gets underway next Tuesday. It runs until September 28th.
All right, speaking of film festivals, another long-running one is set to kick off tomorrow.
That's right. The queer film festival Real Pride Winnipeg is back with films from all around the world. Real Pride Winnipeg is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, making it the oldest film festival of its kind in Canada. The film festival is showcasing a dozen short films and is also giving out awards. Real Pride's Greg Klassen says people of all ages can learn from the stories told in the films.
always felt that queer people need places other than just bars, which these days is definitely happening a lot more. It's a safe space for people to come and gather, I think. And it's also, intergenerationality is very important in my opinion, that people mingle from different generations and talk to each other and we share experiences and people learn from each other. I think that's one thing that young people can really benefit from in this festival.
4 years.
The Real Pride Film Festival starts tomorrow. It runs until the 21st. Check out realpride.ca for more information.
All right, shifting to concert news because a pretty big country act has just announced a Winnipeg stop on its current marathon tour.
Marilee, Old Dominion's How Good Is That World Tour is the band's biggest yet.
I want to run down your wild dreams, and I want to chase every high with you, count every rip in these old jeans.
Old Dominion is one of the defining country acts of its generation. The How Good Is That tour features the band's iconic hits and songs from their recent album, Barbara. They're visiting Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, as well as Europe. They'll play Winnipeg's Canada Life Centre on May 1st. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster.
All right, from country now to rock, because we got another pretty cool concert announcement to share.
We sure do. A legendary band from the 90s is returning to Canada after more than 20 years. That is a classic, isn't it?
It takes me back, Colleen.
It takes me back. It sure does. Live is celebrating the 35th anniversary of the album Mental Jewelry, their major label debut back in 1991. Known for classic songs like this one, Lightning Crashes, the multi-platinum band is touring with Canadian icons Big Wreck and Econoline Crush. Live, it hits, they hit the stage at Canada Life Centre on March 2nd, live that is. Tickets go on sale Friday. Visit theband.com for more information. LiveTheBand.com.
All right.
For more information.
Look it up. Don't miss that one.
To be clear, LiveTheBand.com for more information.
That's going to be a good concert.
Yes.
All right. Now to a special holiday concert that's coming to Winnipeg.
The Celtic Tenors are touring Canada this December. The three vocalists blend the best of Celtic tradition with exhilarating classics, powerful a cappella moments, and popular contemporary songs. They'll perform a heartwarming selection of Christmas classics at the Burton Cummings Theatre on December 5th. Tickets available on the Celtic Tenors website, celtic-tenors.com.
All right, save your money. So many big things happening.
No kidding.
All right, thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Celebrity Weakest Link. High Potential follows at 8. And the Final Four race to the finish line on the season finale of The Amazing Race Canada at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV. A live look out onto the Provencher Bridge. As you can see, traffic is very light at this particular moment. 23 degrees out there, but when you factor in the Humidex, it feels like 27 and pretty windy too. I'll have more details on tonight's forecast and a look ahead to the rest of the week coming up.
Women's clothing provided by RW and Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, an unseasonably warm and unstable air mass sort of moving through our region has brought some very warm conditions today again, but more so yesterday. Let's take a quick look back at some places that set some new September heat records. I want to point out particularly Island Lake. Now, this time of year, Island Lake only gets usually to about 13 degrees. Yesterday, 30.2 degrees. Barons River, Fisher Branch also set new warm weather records in the 29-degree range, and Pine Falls tied with a record it set last year when it reached 21.8 degrees. So not quite as hot today, but still very warm. That's going to change as this air mass moves on out. We're going to see temperatures return closer to normal for this time of year. As we head into tonight, some scattered showers making their way out of eastern Manitoba over into northwestern Ontario through Kenora and Red Lake. There you can see a little bit of lightning firing off between those two communities. There is the potential for rain again tonight in a scattered fashion, more so you can see as we head into the evening hours in Ontario. But don't be surprised if you see a little bit of scattered rain for areas north of Winnipeg. You can see here up into the northeast as well. Not a lot. There are some areas that saw significant amounts of rain last night. I'll have more on that coming up on on CTV News at 6. But as we get into tomorrow, you can see a drier day overall. Perhaps you might catch a little bit of precipitation in the southwest corner, but if you do, it won't be very much. Clearing out across much of the north overnight. We go into Thursday. You can see all this rain, though, here to the south. It will be making its way north, and it will bring rain to southern Manitoba as we get into Thursday. For tonight, for Winnipeg, we drop down to 14 degrees, partly cloudy. There's a slight chance of showers this evening. Winds out of the west at 20, gusting to 40. They will back off mid-evening. Overnight, though, watch out for fog. 20 is our high tomorrow, so you can see the temperature starting to drop off a bit. 18 is the normal high for the city for this time of year. Mix of sun and cloud. Wind shifting tomorrow. They'll be coming straight from the north at about 20 kilometers an hour. Into Thursday we go. Now, for Winnipeg at this point, there's a slight chance of showers during the day, but we could see that start to change. A high of 20. Rain showers more likely Thursday night, and particularly on Friday, another high of 20 degrees. Cloudy and potentially soggy start to the weekend Saturday, 19 degrees, 22 on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud, ditto on Monday. Let's take a look at some weather photos, shall we? This first one takes us out to Otter Falls. That photo is from Carl and Tracy. That's after some rain came through that area. And this next photo, a beautiful look out at the Willow Creek area from Irene. Send us your weather photos by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Healthcare professionals typically prescribe drugs to ease pain and other symptoms, but Manitoba doctors may soon be prescribing something else: time in nature. Today, Assiniboine Park Conservancy announced a partnership with PARX, a national nature prescription program. It encourages healthcare professionals to prescribe time in nature as a way to improve physical and mental well-being. Research shows that time in nature can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, ease anxiety and depression, and improve cardiovascular health and sleep quality. Patients who receive a PARX prescription from a registered healthcare provider are eligible for an Assiniboine Park membership at half price.
I think we all know we're supposed to eat our veggies. Doesn't necessarily mean that we do, but when a doctor tells us you really need to change your diet and make some changes, then we'll listen. This is the same sort of thing. Nature has a lot of health benefits, so, you know, physical, mental, emotional, all those things, and they're starting to have more and more studies that are out there that the more time you spend in nature, the better off it's going to be.
Assiniboine Park is actually the second zoological organization in Canada to join PARX. You can learn more about it at parksprescriptions.ca. I like this idea.
It's such a beautiful place to spend the day, too, Assiniboine Park. Why not?
Lots of things a walk can fix these days. All right, that does it for us this hour, but don't go far. We'll be back at 6 o'clock with much more local news. Hope to see you then.